the house at the end of Maple Road. Before we dive into this story, remember, truth hides in plain sight. Hit subscribe, drop a like if you crave the dark corners of reality, and let's uncover what really happened on Maple Road. Because once you hear this, you'll never look at small towns the same again. The morning fog clung low over the fields of Marrow Creek, a quiet Midwestern town where nothing ever seemed to happen until that Monday. At 6:47 a.m., a jogger found a pickup truck parked awkwardly on the edge of Maple Road, engines still running, headlights cutting through the mist. The driver's door was open. Inside, on the passenger seat, a thermos of coffee still steamed. But the driver, Evelyn Rowe, was nowhere to be found. Evelyn wasn't just anyone. She was a beloved elementary school teacher, the type who stayed after class to help struggling kids and organize bake sales for the local shelter. The kind of person small towns quietly depend on. That's why, when word spread she was missing, fear rippled through Marrow Creek like a shockwave. Sheriff Dean Keller, a 20-year veteran with the kind of face weathered by long nights and bad memories, took the call personally. "We'll find her," he told Evelyn's sister, Clara, that morning. He wanted to believe it, but when he looked at the half-empty thermos and the faint smear of blood on the truck's door handle, his gut said otherwise. The first 48 hours were chaos. Volunteers combed the cornfields. Police dogs picked up faint traces of scent that vanished near the riverbank. News vans rolled in from neighboring counties. Still nothing. Then came the first clue, something small but chilling. 2 miles from where Evelyn's truck was found, a teenage boy stumbled upon a shoe. A woman's flat, soaked and muddy, with traces of dried blood inside. It was Evelyn's. The sheriff ordered a full-scale search of the area. Detectives canvassed every farmhouse, shed, and hunting cabin within 5 miles. Locals whispered theories in grocery lines. Some said Evelyn ran off. Others muttered darker things about the stranger who'd been seen at her classroom window 2 nights before. 3 days later, the investigation took a turn. Deputy Mara Torres, a rookie with sharp instincts, found something strange while reviewing traffic camera footage from the night Evelyn vanished. At 10:43 p.m., a grainy silhouette of her truck appeared on the highway, but there was a second car behind it, a dark sedan with its headlights dimmed, tailing her for several miles before the footage cut out. The sheriff froze the frame, zoomed in. The car's plate was partially visible, 3 letters, RJF. It was enough to track down the owner. When they arrived at his house, a mechanic named Lucas Haynes, mid-30s, single, living on the outskirts, they found him working in his garage. Grease on his hands, country music humming from the radio. Calm, too calm. He told the sheriff he didn't know Evelyn personally, though he'd seen her around. Said he'd been out for a drive that night. He handed over his license, smiled politely, and offered them coffee. But Keller noticed something, the faint red scratch across Lucas's wrist. "Car trouble?" the sheriff asked casually. "Yeah," Lucas said. "Old carburetor slipped." The sheriff nodded, pretending to buy it. But he'd seen scratches like that before. Not from machines, from people. 2 days later, forensic reports confirmed it. The blood on Evelyn's truck matched hers. And beneath her fingernails were microscopic traces of another person's DNA, male. Not her husband's. Not any relatives. They got a warrant. At Lucas Haynes' property, deputies uncovered something buried under a tarp behind his garage. A discarded tarp stained with what appeared to be dried blood, along with a set of rope fibers matching those found in Evelyn's truck bed. When questioned, Lucas said the blood came from a deer he'd processed the week before. But the sheriff had been hunting all his life. He knew the difference between animal and human blood. The lab confirmed his suspicion. They arrested Lucas that night, charging him as a suspect in Evelyn's disappearance. But even then, Keller wasn't convinced it was that simple. In the interrogation room, Lucas barely blinked. He denied everything, politely, mechanically. When shown photos of Evelyn, he said he felt sorry for her family but had nothing to do with it. When Keller leaned forward and whispered, "Then why was your car following hers?" Lucas looked up and smiled. "Because someone told me to." The room went silent. "Who told you?" Keller demanded. Lucas paused, eyes flickering just for a second. "You wouldn't believe me if I said." He lawyered up immediately after. The next morning, something happened that threw the entire case sideways. A farmer 10 miles east of Marrow Creek called in a tip. He found something by the edge of his property, near the woods. Sheriff Keller and Deputy Torres drove out immediately. The autumn air was still unnaturally quiet. Crows circled overhead, and then they saw it. Half buried under a pile of leaves lay a woman's body, partially decomposed, the face obscured by mud and roots. Her wrists were bound with the same kind of rope found at Lucas's house. Around her neck was a silver chain with a small heart pendant, engraved with the letter E. Evelyn Rowe, Clara, her sister, broke down when they told her. The whole town did. Churches held vigils. Candles lined the school steps. But beneath the grief, a darker feeling spread. Fear that Lucas wasn't acting alone. Forensics confirmed time of death between midnight and 2 a.m., hours after her truck was abandoned, meaning someone had kept her alive for a while. Tortured her, killed her elsewhere, then moved the body. When Keller confronted Lucas again with this information, his expression changed. No calmness this time, just irritation. "I told you," he hissed. "I didn't kill her." "Then who did?" the sheriff snapped. Lucas leaned back, smiling faintly. "You're looking in the wrong place, Sheriff. Evelyn wasn't who you think she was." That sentence changed everything. Because hours later, while going through Evelyn's belongings, Deputy Torres found something strange hidden beneath a loose floorboard in her home office. A USB drive, sealed in plastic. When they opened it, the folder name sent chills through the room. Maple_project. Inside were dozens of encrypted files. Financial records, documents tied to a local construction company, Marrow Creek Development, owned by one of the town's wealthiest families, the Hargraves. Evelyn had been collecting evidence. She'd uncovered something big, fraud, embezzlement, maybe worse. The files hinted that money meant for public schools had been rerouted into private accounts. And then came the last photo on the drive, a group picture from the town's shared gala. Evelyn smiling, and right behind her, Lucas Haynes holding a drink. Beside him, hand on his shoulder, was Mayor Daniel Hargrave himself. Sheriff Keller felt the air leave the room. That night, he called his team. Reopen everything, he ordered. Every file, every connection. Evelyn wasn't just a random target. She was silenced. The rookie deputy stared at him. "Sheriff, you think the mayor's involved?" He didn't answer, but he didn't have to. Outside, thunder rolled across Marrow Creek. The rain began to fall again, washing over the quiet streets that had once felt safe. Because now, the town knew something had been festering beneath its surface all along, and Evelyn Rowe had died trying to expose it. But what the sheriff didn't know yet was that one of his own deputies was already on Hargrave's payroll. And by morning, one critical piece of evidence, the USB drive, would vanish from the evidence locker. As thunder cracked once more over Marrow Creek, Keller stood by the window, the same spot where it had all begun. He stared at the dark horizon, knowing what it meant. This wasn't over, not even close, because somewhere out there, in the quiet corners of America, another small town was about to learn that evil doesn't die in the dark. It just moves on to the next street. If you thought this story was intense, you're not ready for what comes next. Hit subscribe, because the next one might be happening closer than you think.